The title of the story that I am going to teach you today is A Letter to God, written by G.L. Fuentes. Actually, in the board examination, question is not being asked from, no question is asked about the author, therefore I have not included the author in the explanation. So let us first read the story and understand it, and after the story, if we have time, we shall discuss about the author, G.L. Fuentes. So first of all, let us read the story. A letter to God. The house, the only one in the entire valley. There was only one house. There was only one house situated in the entire valley. There was only one house, set on the crest of a low hill. This house was on the crest of a, that is on the at the top of a low hill. It was not a high hill, it was a low hill, a small hill. You can say a mound, it was a mound, and the house was at the top of that mound. From this height one could see the river and the field of ripe corn dotted with flowers that always promised a good harvest. So from his house one could see the river and the field of ripe corn filled with flowers, and from this height one could always see the river, the field of ripe corn covered with flowers, that is dotted with flowers that always promised a good harvest. The field of ripe corn covered with flowers always gave a good harvest. The only the only thing the earth needed was a downpour, or at least a shower. The earth needed only one thing, that was a downpour, that was a rain. Okay, a downpour or at least a shower. Throughout the morning, Lencho, who knew his fields intimately, had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. So, Lencho, we have got the name of the protagonist of this story. So, Lencho, who is the protagonist of this story, he was not doing anything from morning. Lencho knew his fields very closely, very intimately, and had done nothing. He had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. So throughout the morning, he had been seeing the sky. He had been looking at the sky towards the northeast direction. Actually, cloud in the northeast part of the sky. So he had done nothing since morning except watching the sky in the northeast direction. He hoped to see a patch of cloud in the direction that would bring rain and give life to his field. Because his crops required one last shower before harvest. So Lencho said, "Now we are going to get some water, woman." This woman is probably his wife. So he is saying, "Now we are really going to get some water." The woman who was preparing supper replied. The woman who was preparing supper, the night food. She said, "Yes, God willing. Yes, if God wills, if God wants, there they would get some water, some rain." The older boys were working in the field, while the smaller ones were playing near the house, until the woman called them all. Until the woman called them all, the older boys were working in the field and smaller ones were playing near the house. The woman called them, "Come for dinner." The woman called all the children to have dinner. It was during the meal that, just as Lencho had predicted, big drops. So it was during the meal when they were taking food, when they were taking their meal, just at that time, as Lencho had said, as Lencho had predicted, big drops of rain began to fall. In the northeast, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. Now in the northeast direction, now in the northeast part of the sky, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. The air was fresh and sweet. The man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body. So Lencho went out. The only reason was that he wanted to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body, and when he returned, he exclaimed. When Lencho returned from outside, he exclaimed, "These are not raindrops falling from the sky. They are new coins." When Lencho came in, he exclaimed that those were not raindrops falling from the sky, but they were new coins. The big drops are pieces and the little ones are fives. Lencho told his wife that those raindrops that were falling from the sky were not raindrops actually, they were new coins. The big drops were 10-cent pieces and the little ones were 5. So those raindrops with the coins of 10-cent pieces and 5 10-cent pieces. With satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn. So, with satisfied expression, he regarded means looked at the field of ripe corn with its flowers draped in, that is covered in a curtain of rain. So, with satisfied expression, he looked at the field of ripe corn with its flowers uh, covered in a curtain of rain, but suddenly a strong wind began to blow. Suddenly, a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain, heavy large hailstones began to fall. Suddenly, a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. These truly did resemble new silver coins. These hailstones truly looked like new silver coins. The boys exposing themselves to the rain. The boys went out into the rain. The boys went out in the rain. They ran to collect the frozen pearls. So the boys went out. They ran out to collect the hailstones, the frozen pearls. The writer is comparing them. The writer has compared them to frozen pearls because they were looking like pearls. "It is really getting bad now," exclaimed the man. But Lencho exclaimed that it was really getting bad. "I hope it passes quickly." Lencho hoped the rain to pass quickly, but it did not pass quickly. For an hour, the hail rained on the house, the garden, the hillside, the cornfield, and the whole valley. So it rained for 1 hour. The field was white. Now the field was looking white, as if covered with salt. Not a leaf remained on the trees. Not a single leaf was left on the trees. The corn was totally destroyed. The flowers were gone from the plants. Lenchu's soul was filled with sadness. So when Lenchu saw his crops gone, destroyed completely, his soul was filled with sadness. When the storm had passed, he stood in the middle of the field and said to his son. So when the storm had passed, when the hailstorm had passed, he stood in the middle of the field with his children and said, a plague of locusts would have left more than this. He told his children that a plague of locusts would have left more than this hailstorm, more than this. The hails have left nothing. The hails had completely destroyed everything, all the crops of Lencho. This year we will have no food. Lencho told his children that they would have no food that year. That that definitely that nine was a sorrowful one for them. All our work for nothing. He said, all our work for nothing. There is no one who can help us. So we will all go hungry this year. So in this way, the talking was going on between them, between the father, between Lencho and his wife. One said, oh, one said, all our work for nothing. All our work was useless, turned to nothing. There is no one who can help us. The other said, there was no one who could help them. We will all go hungry. We will all go hungry this year. Now, but in the hearts of all who lived in that solitary house in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope, help from God. But in everybody's heart there was a single hope, that was help from God. Don't be so upset, even though this seems like total loss. Remember, no one dies of hunger. Yes, this is the. So don't be so upset, even though this seems like total loss. Even though this seems like a complete loss, when everything has been lost, but don't be upset. Remember, no one dies of hunger. That is what they say, no one dies of hunger. All through the night, Lencho thought only of this one hope. That is, he thought about the help of God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's concerns. Mind. Concerns means mind, deep in the mind. Lencho was an ox of a man, means he was a very hard-working man. Lencho was an ox of a man, that is, Lencho was a very hard-working man. He used to work as hard as an ox, working like an animal in the field, but still he knew how to write. He was a very hard-working man and he worked in the field, however, he knew how to write. The following Sunday at daybreak, that is, early in the morning, the following Sunday at daybreak, he began to write a letter which he himself would carry to town. Lencho himself would carry that letter to town and place it in the mailbox. It was nothing less than a letter of God. This letter was nothing less than a letter to live until the cross, because the hailstorm had destroyed everything. He wrote to God on the envelope, put a letter inside, and still troubled. He was still troubled. Went to town. At the post office, he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox. One of the employees, who was a postman and also helped at the post office, went to his boss laughing heartily and showed him the letter to God. Never in his career as a postman had he known that address. The postman, a fat, amiable fellow, a friendly fellow, also broke out laughing, but almost immediately he turned serious. He was laughing, but soon he turned serious and tapping the letter on the desk, he commented, "What faith! It was a great faith. I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter." The postmaster said the postmaster wished to have the faith of the man who had written this letter, starting up starting up a correspondence with God. The, according to the postmaster, the man had a great faith on God. The postmaster also wished to have the faith of that man, the faith like Lencho had on God. And so, in order to in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, not to weaken, not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea. The postmaster came up with an idea. Answer the letter. He said, "Answer the letter." But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it he needed something more than goodwill. So when the postmaster opened the letter, he came to know that this letter was not easy because to answer they needed something more than just goodwill, ink and paper. But he stuck to his resolution. The post did not change his decision, he stuck to his decision. He asked for money from his employees. He asked his employees to give him money. He himself gave part of his salary. He also gave a part of his salary, and several of his were obliged to give something for an act of charity. So the postmaster collected money from his employees, from his friends. He himself gave a part of his salary, and he collected some money. It was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pesos. But 100 pesos was a big sum, so it was impossible for him to gather so much money. So he was able to send the farmer only a little more than half. He put the money in an envelope addressed to Lencho and with it a letter containing only a single word as a signature, God. So he put the money in an envelope addressed to Lencho and a letter containing the following Sunday. Lencho came a bit earlier. The following Sunday, Lencho came to the post office a little earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter for him. He inquired of them if there was a letter for him. It was the postman himself who handed the letter to him. The postman himself handed the letter to Lencho. While the postmaster, experiencing the contentment of a man who has performed a good deed, looked on from his office. So when Lencho came to the post office next Sunday, The postman himself gave the envelope to him, and the postmaster was feeling contentment and looking at all these things from his office. Lencho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money. Found money, when Lencho opened the envelope and found money in it, he did not feel the slightest surprise. Such was his confidence. His confidence was so strong that he did not feel even the least surprised after getting the money. But he became angry. Lencho became angry when he counted the money. God could not have made a mistake, he thought, nor could he have denied Lencho what he had requested. Lencho thought that God had certainly sent him the money that he had asked for, but something was in it. Something was okay. God could not have made a mistake. There was some reason. He would have sent the money, but what happened? He received only 70 pesos. Immediately Lencho went up to the window. Lencho immediately went up to the window to ask for paper and ink. So Lencho immediately went to the window of the post office and asked for paper and ink. On the public writing table, he started to write. On the public writing table, he again started writing with much wrinkling of his brow, caused by the effort he had to make to express. When he went to the window to buy a stamp. When Lencho finished writing the letter, he went to the he went to the post office window to buy a stamp, which he licked. Lencho licked the stamp and then affixed it to the envelope with a blow of his fist.